Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly bump. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, this week we have 3 piles. Pile 1, 2, and 3 with the Sodalite for pile 1, Tiger Iron for pile 2, and a Rose Quartz for pile number 3. So for those of you who are new and don't quite know how this works, take a moment, pause the video if you have to, but take a moment and allow your intuition to guide you toward one pile or another. Some people are drawn toward multiple piles, so you're free to watch more than just one. If you're not feeling specifically called or drawn, then you can absolutely randomly pick one as well. I always believe there's destiny involved with this. So timestamps so you can easily access each reading will be in the description box and the comment section down below. And that's it. All right. Thank you guys so much. Hope you are doing well, and I'll see you in just a sec. Okay, pile number 1, you guys selected the Sodalite. Let's go ahead here and see what comes through. This is going to be a great week to get some stuff done, whether at work or at the office or just at home with certain, tasks that need to be done. I don't see a lot of big picture type of focus. And that's okay, right? We don't always have to be so in the big picture realm, right? I look at this 8 of Coins. This is one of my favorite cards in the whole tarot because it suggests that process of bringing things out of your mind, right? Getting them from out of the idea or concept form and into the reality form. And there's motivation behind it, especially when we have a Queen of Wands coming out. I always say she's my bulldog of the tarot. She's like the one who, really attaches to an idea and just runs with it. Not necessarily in an obsessive or a crazy kind of way, but in a way of just like, this is what I want and I'm just going to create it and I'm just going to make it happen without a lot of complexity at all. So no matter what it is, if it's a domestic thing, if it's a professional thing, if there's something done that needs to be done within your relationship, if it's going to the gym and working out, you just go do it. And there's not a lot of, second thoughts. I look at the 2 of Swords and I do see perhaps the word that's coming to my mind, which is kind of a weird word, is like debilitation, like being debilitated. Not being able to make a choice right now. Maybe there's something that you don't really have a lot of control over. Maybe there's another person that you are waiting for. I do see something in the realm of 2 people or multiple people, 2 or 3, We've got 3 people in the boat here, 3 people here. So, there's a collaboration or a connection or a creative project or something that might be a little bit at a standstill. So now is not the time to be focusing on the things that you can't do, but rather the things that you can do, right? We've got a Mercury retrograde happening. So it makes sense that things get a little bit wonky. It makes sense that things don't get to be able to push through so easily, especially if you are dependent on other people. Now, some of you may relate more to the Queen of Wands. Some of you may relate more to the Queen of Cups. I'm not quite sure, but for some reason, I feel like this is like the other person. You seem to be very focused on, what you can do. This is someone who might be a little bit more in that emotional realm, a little bit worried about things that aren't worth really worrying about. I am getting a sense of anxiety from that Queen of Cups, and I don't even quite know why. She's upright. She's great. I think all is great. But there's something manifesting with her quality that's just a little uncomfortable and a little unsettling, I think, for a Queen of Wands. Now, if this is your significant other, this is a great opportunity for the 2 of you to really balance each other out. Where one might be spinning out a little bit, the other one was like, okay, just relax. We can do this, and we can do this, and we can do this. The other things we can't worry about, so let's just, keep our head down and just, go in this direction. You might need to take the lead a little bit. I'm sensing a need for guidance. I'm sensing a need for grabbing someone's hand and pulling them in a specific direction. See, the thing that I, notice here is that her head is up and looking out toward the horizon, whereas this one is just looking only what's directly in front of her, right? She's looking straight at her cup. Rather than using her cup as a tool to achieve something else, it's like that is the goal. The cup itself is the goal. Whereas here, her tool, which is her wand, is being used for, her stability. It's being used for her trek over the mountains or whatever, So it's a little bit different approach to a problem. It's a little bit of a different approach to communication or whatever, but with consciousness, with awareness, and with, a feeling of connection, the two of you can quite easily work through this. And I do see that you will. I don't necessarily know that anything really that bad is coming your way at all. I think generally speaking, it will be a really productive week. Like, let me tell you why I love Mercury retrogrades. We're always like, oh my God, it's Mercury retrograde. People always freak out about it. But it's usually the time when we're our most creative, right? Because we're stepping out of that left brain, practical, logical kind of place, and we're stepping into the more right brain, more creative place. And those of you who have Mercury retrogrades in your natal chart will totally get this. You're like, oh my God, like this is the best time of year, Mercury retrogrades, right? And I sense that with that creativity, with that out of the box kind of thinking, maybe not so analytical, maybe not so detailed, but still practical nonetheless, but more creative, right? That's really what this card is. It's about creation. You're creating things out of thin air and bringing it into the world. And of course, the Six of Swords is a card of, I always say, spiritual evolution, of moving forward, moving in a new direction, moving towards something more peaceful. So whether it's you guiding someone else or you just doing it for yourself and saying, you know what, Queen of Cups, I'm just really not feeling your vibe right now. Like, let me just move on because I need a little bit more peace or solitude, or I need something that is a little bit more of what I want, And of course, we have this Three of Cups, which does suggest, a celebration, right? That there will be a celebration. This is what I get for talking with my hands so much. I can't help it. You're going to be successful, that there will be a harvest. I often see this like with the pumpkins and the squash and stuff. It's like, you get to reap the rewards of your summer of labor. And I think a lot of us have been working really hard, and we deserve to celebrate how far we've come. We deserve to celebrate what we've achieved. And maybe someone isn't really in that celebratory mindset. So you're like, you know what? Okay, fine. Then I'm just going to do it myself, right? I'm just going to do it myself. I'm going to just enjoy my life and take my ups and downs as they come and not worry. And let's just, take today and not worry about tomorrow, but make good decisions today and just have faith that things are going to work out. And that's it. It's not complicated. And the thing I love about a Queen of Wands is she never overcomplicates. It's not all this stuff. It's usually just like one thing. Okay, so this is a great week for just, plowing forward. Trapped in fear. Okay, interesting. And partnerships and alliances. So there is a partnership quality clearly coming out. There's two energies. Again, does not have to be romantic at all. And doesn't even need to be a business relationship. It could also be a friendship or something that you're doing with someone or plans you have with someone. Someone might be trapped in fear. They could be trapped in fear. Or there's a fear of telling you something. Or you have a fear of telling someone something. Maybe you have a fear that you're not going to be as productive and therefore you don't do anything. Maybe you fear that it's not really ultimately going to have results, so you just don't do anything. If you're having any of those kinds of thoughts, now's the time to just stop, because it's not about the outcome anyway. It's about allowing yourself to harness the opportunity. It's not about the guarantee of making the money or the guarantee of this or that. It's just about the process. I think people in this pile who are too future focused, meaning like, well, if I can't have this ultimate end result, then I'm not even going to start. That is a really, really self-destructive mindset to have right now. And of course, you guys selected the Sodalite, which of course is, that fifth chakra, right? The throat chakra, which has a lot to do with your, yes, we always say speech and communication and all of that, but speech and communication is like the very first human form of creation, right? We create out of our thoughts and out of thin air, literally sound and vibration that we then convert into words, which is a form of creation as well. So, this is where you're at. You're in a creative space. With or without someone, you're going to do it anyway, as long as you get started though. And if you're dealing with someone who seems to be trapped in fear, I see you saying, you know what, I'm just going to move forward anyway. So this actually doesn't really seem like it's stopping any of you unless it's stopping you from starting. Ultimately, I think this partnership is good. I think it's a good thing, and it will maybe ultimately this other person will come around, or, you'll work it out. Ultimately, it will be fine. But if you are kind of in a strange, stagnant place, don't spend your time banging your head against the wall trying to get someone to see it the way you see it. It's just not going to work. It's Mercury retrograde. But the one thing about this Mercury retrograde happening in Scorpio, of course, yes, it will amplify that Mars retrograde over in Aries as well, since Mars rules Scorpio too. And we also have this Venus in Virgo moving into Libra. But man, it's about truth more than anything. Like, let's not lie to ourselves. Let's not lie to other people. Let's really just be honest. That was the theme for October readings, for the monthly readings. Your commitment is being tested. Okay. Well, commitment can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. It can be a romantic commitment or a business commitment or to a client or anything like that. But more than anything, the word commitment from this card always means the commitment to yourself, the commitment to your truth, the commitment to that which you know which makes you happy. Okay? Your commitment to your soul and your soul purpose. And I don't see people compromising. This is not about compromise. As much as you might have taken it from that Two of Swords, it's really not about compromise at all. It's about getting on board or not. It's about choosing this path or not. It's about going in this direction or not. It's very black or white. And it's your commitment to a path. It's your commitment to a journey more than it is the commitment to accommodating. Right? This is not a week of accommodation. No one should be accommodating someone else's stuff. And we just need to let people be who they are, what they are, and with whatever is happening. And that's it. Okay? So where can I create more space? All right, well, some of you, you may be leaving this Queen of Cups behind or letting this person, figure things out for themselves, whatever it is. Or you may be grabbing them by the hand and being like, well, if you don't know what you want, then we're going to go in this direction, kind of making up decisions for other people. But either way, again, remember, it's all about simplicity with the Queen of Wands. This is not about complication. Okay, so this says, instead of filling yourself up with busy work and things to do, create more sacred space in your schedule, in your home, your mind, your lungs, and in your heart. Take time to just be. Okay, that's a great thing, because sometimes this can turn into a workaholic situation. That's not what I mean when I say that. This is going to be very productive for you, but please make sure you're not overdoing it or hiding in this stuff either. It's a fight. There's a balance in everything. We're still in Libra season technically. So, it is about balance. And there's a fine line sometimes between being really productive and watching your visions come to life and really overdoing it and over pushing and avoiding things. This is not a week for avoidance, especially not when we get the trapped in fear card coming out. Okay. Now we have a super attractor card. When I connect to the spiritual realm, I open the door to receive divine guidance, clear direction, and great wisdom. First of all, our connection with the spirit realm, or our higher self, which ultimately is just the part of us that knows best. I'm kind of adopting this new take on the higher self, because we kind of spout that word off all the time. And sometimes it's important to remember what the higher self actually is. Right? The part of us that just knows best. And this is an opportunity for you to just allow yourself to know what's best. Allow yourself to know when to stop, when to go, when to speak, when to shut up, when to make a decision and when to not make a decision, when to push and when to walk away. Remember, like I say, it's all very black and white. It's very much either this one or that one. And your higher self, the part of you that knows best, is exactly there to give you divine guidance, clear direction, and great wisdom. So if you listen to the part of you that knows best, even if some of the decisions are more difficult, you will not regret it. Obviously, we never do. We never regret the decisions that we know are best, not only for ourselves, but for other people as well. Somehow I think this Queen of Cups, like I say, is so focused on the cup that's right in front of her, but it's skewing the Queen of Cups perspective a little bit, I think, whereas the Queen of Wands, with her gaze toward the horizon, has a much better idea of the surroundings and the environment. Okay? Nurturing. So, nurturing your ideas, nurturing your creative projects. Nurturing is a lot different than coddling. So remember, this is not about just accommodating and, doing things for the sake of making someone else happy, right? This is about giving life to something. The way you nurture a child, the way you give it love, you give it attention. Anything that you're working on now, if you think of it as your child, for some of you, it might actually be your child. You cannot go wrong. Nurturing implies love. Right? It implies this input or this outpouring from you into the thing of love. Love and meaning. Okay, I love that. Diligence. Okay. Some of you, look, even this bird is like in the clouds, sort of looking down. There is a quality of perspective. Top level down, looking down perspective. Sometimes it's hard to be in that high level space because sometimes the reality of something is a little tough to swallow. But if you can be in that top level down perspective, then you realize that it's just like a little tiny ebb of the whole scale, right? In terms of the macro scale. And it's really not that big a deal. And I think a lot of things right now, a lot of changes, a lot of revisions to the path or whatever, it might feel like a lot, right? Trapped in fear, but it's really not that big a deal. There's no need for anyone to be like debilitated right now. You're doing what you have to do, what's best for you, and ultimately what is best for you is best for all. Now, the dove spirit, be peace. I love that. Peace is always like a thing for me. What's going to bring me the most peace, Some of you are more at peace when you're busy working, when you're building something. Others of you are more at peace when you're in a state of meditation. Whatever your peaceful place is. I feel a lot of peace coming to you. Even if there's something kind of coming out of nowhere, there's a lot of peace coming to you. That's what it's all for. That's what it's all about. I'm just trying to think. I'm getting all sorts of feelings right now. I'm getting all sorts of emotions. Some of you might be struggling with the idea that whatever is happening in your life is actually ultimately for the sake of peace. It might feel like the opposite of that. But remember, there's a part of you that knows best. And it's important to let that voice speak. Virgo, I analyze. Well, there's the Mercury stuff for you coming out. Yes, there probably is a component of you like running down all the things, running down all the options, the conversations, running down the potentials, running down all sorts of things. Even some of you may be going back to the past and like running it through your mind. Honestly, I don't really know that that is going to be the most productive because it's going to keep you trapped. Sometimes this is kind of like the overanalysis paralysis I'm getting from this Virgo card. It's more about productivity right now. It's more about getting the things done, getting the creative project done, getting that thing launched or getting it put together or cleaning the house. Or it's about the productivity. Because if you sit there and you overthink, then what you're doing is you're not listening to the higher self. You're not opening the door to receive the divine guidance. You're not in this high level perspective here. You're in the tunnel. And the tunnel is extremely limiting. Okay? Last card. Listening for truth. Okay. And that's what is coming through because Mercury retrograde is in Scorpio. Because Jupiter and Pluto are coming back together again in November. They're both going direct now. Jupiter and Pluto both going direct, coming together in November for the final third conjunction of this year. Huge amounts of truth coming through. Truth for you within yourself and truth for other people. Truth for your life. And truth is the spirit of peace. Truth and peace are one and of the same. They go hand in hand. They work together. And it's unavoidable. Right now, it's unavoidable. Okay? All right, Pile 1, I'm going to leave you with that. You know I love you. I wish you nothing but the best. Have an amazing week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right, pile number 2, you guys select the Tiger Iron. All right, let's go ahead and see what comes through. Okay. Well, lovers can mean a lot of different things. It can mean an actual partnership, a relationship. It can mean your internal wholeness right now. It can mean communication. We've got a Mercury retrograde happening, right? It can mean logistics, communication, intelligence, high-mindedness, but it can also mean abundance. And I look at this hermit and I look at him looking at the lovers. And what I see is stepping beyond the intellectual mind, stepping beyond the situation, stepping beyond the thing that you thought it was, and allowing meaning to reveal itself rather than assigning meaning. The thing I love about the hermit is that he never, ever, ever tries to slap a label on anything. Ever. We as human beings do this. We try to make something what we want it to be. The hermit is very powerful because of this. And he's humbled by this as well, because he sees the complexity of the divine order. And a lot of times with the intelligence here, we see the angel. There is a higher intelligence to all things. There is not only a part within us that knows best, but there is a part of spirit that knows best. And the hermit seems to be very accepting of things. But then I get a little stubbornness here as well. What I feel is that there is a battle going on, and I'll use the word battle, maybe not the best word, but a little bit of a battle going on between your higher self and your lower self. I feel like this little, numbered card here, the number 4, is really trying to, he's really clinging tight to that coin, isn't he, right? He's really trying to cling on to something. But it's that clinging that seems to be creating stress. See how relaxed the energy is between the two here? The Hermit is the observer of something. And yet here, this is kind of the opposite. This is, 4 coins. It's not bad, but it's not the best. It's some kind of in between. Whereas here is full abundance, right? And yet you're clinging on to practically anything. Clinging on to something that you feel is like enough. But why would you cling on to something that barely is enough to something that is like, why would you take this over something that is so overwhelmingly abundant and amazing? Like, why would you take the job that pays you just a little bit, the same or a little bit less than what you think you deserve, rather than waiting out for that job that's going to pay you for what you really deserve? This is not about taking what you can get. And the thing with this Mercury retrograde, not only is it amplifying the Mars retrograde, but it's really amplifying truth right now. That's what Scorpio is all about. Truth and reality and what's below the surface. And, it's not all convoluted with a whole bunch of, superficial things. It's like real, it's raw. And I think somehow, that this 4 of coins is happening, and that you don't want that, and that there is work to do. Because look, again, the King of Coins and the Lovers, to sort of be the, bookends of this reading. These are 2 of the cards that really represent true abundance. These are like my Garden of Eden type of cards. It's like the money keeps coming and the love keeps coming, and there's warmth and acceptance and generosity and all sorts of things. And of course, that's what you are worthy of. Of course, that's ultimately what the whole point is. Somehow this little 4 of coins sort of wedged itself in here and was like, I'm just going to take what I can get. Because of course this is based in fear, right? 9 of Swords. Of course it's based in fear. Fear of, I don't know. Fear of something. 10 of Wands is that reminder of like, don't carry a burden that's too heavy. You don't have to bear the load for other people. You don't have to burden yourself with things that you shouldn't be burdening yourself with. You shouldn't have to take less and take on more responsibility, unless you're being, properly compensated. And I'm using this kind of in a financial context, but this could be in all different kinds of contexts, romantic, family, any kind of relationships or any kind of situation in which you find yourself, okay? This is an opportunity for you to really say that you deserve a certain thing. And if for whatever reason that thing cannot be found in your current situation, then to accept the changes that the universe is giving you to change your path in order to receive that thing. The thing that's kind of crazy about what's going on in the sky right now is that there are no compromises. This is not about compromising what you feel that you deserve. It's not about compromising your standards at all. It's about being unbending and saying, I'm not going to hang on to scraps. I would rather go with nothing than cling on to just this little bit. This is an opportunity for you to exhibit your courage to the universe. This is your opportunity to really showcase the wisdom that you've acquired over the past few years. Because I know through your romantic relationships, through your financial ups and downs, through any and all kinds of stuff, like since 2015, 2016, it's been really crazy. And we've learned a lot. And now it's time for us to put our money where our mouth is. It's time for us to be the type of person that walks in wisdom rather than walks in fear. Okay? Obstacles and challenges. Okay, sure. There's going to be some stuff that shows up. Fine. Not a problem. Obstacles and challenges are not bad. They're just things that we have to deal with. You know, like, is it any wonder that there are bumps in the road right now? With the astrological environment, we've been talking about it all year, all freaking year, right? Is it any wonder that there are things that just aren't going smoothly? And then we have triumph. I wanted to wait to pull that card out because it's a reminder of like, hey, like you're going to win. Like you're going to come out on top. You're going to have the things that you want. You know, because you are capable of stepping outside yourself, because you are capable of accepting and going with the flow and making certain changes, and because you are, you know, committed to your own track, you will succeed. And when obstacles and challenges present themselves, this guy's on a freaking horse. You're going to be able to leap over them, you know? So it's fine. And then we have show the world the real you. This is an opportunity for you to show, again, remember I said the universe loves courage. It's an opportunity for you to strip yourself, like strip away all of the things that you think you are and just really, really be true to you. You know, I kind of envy those people. Like, I follow this really weird account on Instagram. I think it's called Subway Creatures. And it's just, you know, people on the subway in New York City. And some of them are like really funny, you know, like some of them are really cool. You know, you have dancers and singers, and then you have kind of the crazies out there. I kind of envy the crazies a little bit. I'm not going to lie, right? The people who are just not normal, because I feel that there's a lot of freedom in that. That ability to step outside of the self-consciousness and the insecurities and just be totally, purely yourself, even if the whole world thinks you're insane. And I feel like there is a little bit of crazy coming out right now, right? There's a little bit of that uniqueness, so incredibly unique things about you that have just been dying to come out. And without insecurities, without a fear of judgment, right? Hermit stuff, I feel that you start to take that leap. And this might be in response to something, right? It might be in response to a change in your life. But it's time. So if I had a magic wand and could have anything I desired in life, what would I choose? Now be careful. Right? This is one of those things. Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. What would you really, really ask for? Okay, let's read the back of this. Burn with desire. There is power in your desires. Let them be your fuel today. Your desires are your soul's wings, and it's time to take flight. But the question is what is your desire really? Because remember, you might be hanging on to scraps here. So what is the true desire? Is it, right? Is it, a certain amount of money, but not the money for the money. It's the money for the freedom, right? Get to the real reason, the real thing behind what you want, behind what you desire. It's not to be in love with a specific person. It's to just have unconditional love in your life, you know? It's very likely that certain events in your life that have transpired recently, that those specific events have happened not as an ultimate outcome for you, but as a stepping stone to get you closer to what you're truly worthy of. I release time and let the universe show me what to do. Oh my God, if that's not a reminder, right? Sometimes we need that reminder to just like stop running a time frame through everything. Stop trying to say like, well, if I don't have anyone by, September, by like December, what month are we in right now? October. If I don't have anyone by December, I'm just going to give up and do this. Or if I don't have this offer by this time, blah, blah. The universe doesn't like that, and it will never really abide by that anyway. You can do that for yourself, but please, please, please open your hearts, open your minds, and just listen. That's what a hermit would do. That's the question for yourself this week. What would the hermit do? Right? What would the hermit do? The hermit that is never grasping, ever. That is not bridled by the shackles of desire, Interesting how we have this desire card, but also this release card. Like you can have desire in your heart. You can hold space for that. But again, it's not egoic desire. It's not like I want this thing or I want this person. Usually it always comes down to like peace and freedom. Usually that's what ultimately every desire leads us back to. Okay? And we have blessings. Please don't forget to look around at your life and see how blessed you are. Please don't forget to express gratitude, even though you do have the 9 of Swords right now. Please don't forget to breathe in fresh air and just appreciate your life. I always, I think it was Osho. I can never remember who actually said this, but I heard somewhere, the thing is, what is the meaning of life? This question that burns within all of us. What is the meaning of life? And yet somehow we forget that like the meaning of life is just to be alive. That's the whole point. We're always so like convoluting our paths with like all these things that we should do and we should be, and we got to go here and be here, and we got to have this and have that, and da 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 da. I say it all the time, but sometimes we need to just take a step back and just be like, I'm alive, and that's the point. And it takes a lot of pressure off. Gateway. Some of you may think that there's a final something happening right now, that something is ending. It's the beginning of something. Don't get it twisted. Don't label it. The universe has some pretty amazing surprises in store for you, I promise. The gateway is opening. This is just the beginning, and sometimes beginnings are disguised as endings. That's why you can't grasp at scraps. That's why you can't just take what you can get. You got to ask for everything. You got to ask for the whole thing. Remember in my monthlies, I don't know if you guys watch them, but in my monthlies, I was saying like, you have to ask. Like if you want that private island, you have to ask for the private island. If you want that perfect relationship with, marriage and babies and that beautiful mansion, in freaking, the forest or whatever, like if that's what you want, you have to ask for it. Because if not, then you're grasping at scraps. And no one wants to be that person. The ant spirit, it's time to collaborate. Okay. Sorry, my stomach's grumbling. I think it's time for you. I'm like envisioning these ants and I see these puzzle pieces. Like it's time for you to start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. It's time for you to really get to work. Okay? Because maybe there have been things that have been just stewing around in your mind for a minute, and it's time for them to be created. And I think that's what this desire is really all about. Look, you're committing more to the journey than to the outcome, right? You're committing to the process of things, but you also have to physically do it as well. You have to take the steps. You have to make things happen. You have to put in time. You have to put in energy and effort. And I think it has a lot to do with who you really are. Show the world the real you, remember? has a lot to do with this real, unique, crazy self that you may have been scared to really show people. And yet now, you got nothing to lose here except opportunity. The gateway is opening. You're passing through a gateway. This is not a closed door. Sometimes with the 9 of Swords and the 10 of Wands, it can feel like very daunting and it can feel very like boom in your face or whatever, but there are no closed doors in front of you. Pluto transformation. Yeah, the deepest kinds of transformation. You know, it's very important when we talk about, you know, transformation. One of the main symbols we use is the butterfly, right? When the caterpillar goes into the cocoon, that caterpillar becomes like a goo. It like breaks its entire structure down. It loses its identity as a caterpillar in order to become the butterfly. So if you are breaking yourself down, if the world is pushing you into some kind of a change, remember, there is something much, much bigger on the other side. Please do not grasp at scraps. I don't know how many times to say it. Let everything go. Because your true desire is trying to really come through. And it's not the desire for that thing that you thought you had or whatever. It's not what the desire is. Desire is beneath that. And you have to go deeper than that. That's why the Hermit came out. Is like, look, you can go deeper than that. You're smarter than that. Okay, and the last, faith in the process. I release time and let the universe show me what to do. Faith in the process. That's a lot easier said than done sometimes, because I can sit here so easy with the cards on this side of the camera and just be like, oh, just have faith in the process. And it sounds so like almost silly because it doesn't even match the effort of the process. Believe me, I've been through the process. I know it sucks, and I know that it's always takes longer than you think. But there is another side to the process as well. There is this moment when you wake up and you have your butterfly wings. And that's just how it is. You just wake up one day and it's different. And you can't push for that, and you can't psych yourself out for that. It just happens. Time is very much in control right now. Okay? So you have to just let it be. But your choices in the meantime, the choices of how you perceive things, is really gonna, make this worth it. Okay? Okay, pile number 2. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. I love you. I wish you nothing but the best. Have an amazing week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 3. You guys selected the rose quartz here. Let's take a look. Okay, wow, really beautiful sets of cards. How the heck did the 7 of Cups get wedged in here? Clearly something came in and threw a wrench in the spokes, created confusion, created disillusion, maybe. Maybe something just went up in smoke a little bit, just poof. You had such a clear vision before, and then boom, all of a sudden, poof. Look, I'm telling you, your vision hasn't changed. Whatever it is, your vision for your career path, your vision for your livelihood, your vision for your family, your vision for your romantic life, right? Like if you have this vision of getting to the corner office or getting, married and having children, right? We got the family component here. We have got children. So, sorry, my stomach is grumbling a little bit. But if you had that vision before, you haven't lost the vision, even though maybe something that you thought was taking you there was, going to be the thing. Maybe it's not the thing, but your vision still hasn't changed. I think the universe really needs you to have faith in what's going on right now. You might perceive this. Look, this is at the beginning of the spread. You might be perceiving this as a problem when in fact it's a catalyst to get you much, much, much closer to what you really want, which is, the really great career, the really great money, the really great family, the really great love. Like the 10 of coins represents the having of the really great thing. And you think maybe that your vision has been impaired, but I think it's just become more sharp. Maybe you had a little bit of a taste, right? Here he is holding the globe like in his hand, right? Just a little globe, just a little bit of a world. You've had just a little bit of a taste. You've felt the weight of that world briefly, and then poof, there it goes. But the universe is like, well, do you just want to hold the world in your hand, or do you want to live in it? And I think your answer is, well, I want to live in it. And that's what the 10 of coins is. You're living in it, which means all the things that you want, if you allow the universe to do its work, it's on your way. You had to get a taste for it, though, because it probably was very important for you to understand what it was like, to understand whether or not you really truly wanted it. Maybe you had a really great financial month, and then maybe you kind of went back to normal and you're like, wait a second, I really liked having all that extra money, right? I really liked having all of that. And the universe is like, okay, great. Now I know. And now I know that your vision is clear, and now we can take you there. You got a taste. You got to try it out. Now let's take you to the real thing. And I think this is a week where you can truly assert yourself with the universe and be like, universe, I'm freaking ready. I'm ready for that money and that job and that lifestyle and that love. And I'm ready for that connection. I'm ready for that success. I'm ready. I think the universe is waiting for you to stand up and say that. And the quote, it's kind of like that old quote, right? How do you know when you're ready? Well, that's when you stand up and you take it. You take that life. And I feel like that's what the King of Wands is going to do. These are very strong Leo energies here, by the way, right? We've got the card of Leo. We have the fixed fire, which is also Leo. And the Leo is the royalty, right? Wakes up one day and's like, well, I'm going to raise my taxes, right? Well, I'm just going to raise taxes today. Like, you get to do whatever you feel like. No one can argue with you. They just have to fulfill your orders. And I think that's what you're doing with the universe. Like, universe, I'm going to take this life, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the universe is like, okay, great. Hop on the chariot. Let's make it happen. Yes, you got a little taste of it. I said this in another pile. I can't remember which one. Pile 1 or 2, but this is not a time for you to hang on to scraps. Now, I'm saying that very harshly because I think it needs to be said a little bit harshly, because I think that's the tendency, because people are going to get a little taste and think that that's the real deal when it's not even close to the real deal. It's an indication that you are at that vibration, and that's why you attracted it. It's an indication that you're on the right track. It's an indication that you're at a good place. Okay? So now it's kind of been solidified, like, okay, I can attract that into my life. I can have that. Okay? Triumphant success. Look, you guys, you're gonna have it. And why am I using the word have? Because we've got the 10 of coins here. The coins are about the physicality of life. It's about the earth component, the physical. It's not emotional, not mental, and not spiritual. It's physical. That's why we have the 4 different suits, right? Coins, wands, cups, and swords. Well, This is about having the money in your bank account. It's about having that house. It's about having that relationship. It's about having the family. All right? And this is a card very clearly saying you will have a triumphant success. And I love that it came out on top of the Chariot card, which is also about destiny. It is your destiny to have those things. Don't hang on to this. Don't just hang on to it as though it's an idea in the palm of your hand, not participating outside of the world. Dive into the world with the right people. The universe is going to start putting new people in your life. I look at this little baby, this little child here, and it indicates to me that there are new people coming through. New lives, new births, okay? Births of new relationships and that kind of thing, okay? So it's not about the old, it's about the new. And intuition, yeah. Your intuition is super strong. You know that it's coming. And I know that you know that it's coming, and we can't fool ourselves because with this environment, we cannot lie. It's impossible. I mean, we can lie, but we know we're doing it. We know we're in denial. We know when we're fooling ourselves. So it's just going to be pointless to do that anyway. It's just going to create more problems. So just be honest. Just be truthful. Your hard work is paying off. And I think your hard work, okay, whether it's at the office or whether it's your spiritual work and all of that, don't worry. Remember, this situation, whatever it was an indication that you were on the right track. It's an indication that you've done the right things. It's not the end all be all, believe me. Okay? It's not the end all be all. You're starting to see the payout of it though, and I think this was the payout. One of the payouts. All right? Don't look at this thing any more seriously than if I pulled this into my life, if I was able to hold this in my hand for a second, that means I'm doing a good job. That's it. That's all it means. Okay, am I focused on what I am losing or gaining? Look, this is what you have to gain. This is what you're losing. It's so small. It is so small what you're losing here. Okay, boom. Are you going through some change? Are you scared to let go because of what you might lose? What if you shifted your focus from what you might lose to what you might gain? Endings are actually new beginnings. Great. I don't know who needs to hear that, but endings and beginnings are the exact same thing. So because there's this quality of a child here, or birthing new relationships, birthing new connections, birthing new ideas, new businesses, new clients, all the things, and look at how brilliant it is, and look at the payout. It's huge. It's so much higher than that. There's no money in that card anyway. And again, I don't mean money. I mean, the physical rewards. I slow down and listen to the guidance that's available to me. Sometimes we do slow down and we try to meditate or whatever. Sometimes we feel like nothing is coming through. But sometimes it's that sort of cosmic silence that says the most. And I feel with the Seven of Cups that maybe, you're spinning a little bit. Maybe you have a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions and you don't quite know how to identify certain things or whatever. Maybe there is a little bit of confusion. And if you do try to slow down and you stop trying to force anything, it's actually the silence and the lack of messages from the universe that gives you the most safety, that all is well, it's all perfect. You have been planted, right? The way you plant a seed, you have been planted. So it may feel like darkness right now, but it's not really darkness. It's not really oppressive. It's not really scary, but it's actually the safest place you can be. And it's the place where you get to exhibit the most amount of strength. It's the place where you get to begin to grow. Okay, ancient healing wisdom. Okay, I do feel like there's a healing thing going on between the Two of Wands, the Seven of Cups, and the Chariot. There is a healing thing. I don't know what that means for you, but you're going through a process that many of your ancestors have gone through. Many people have gone through. It's important for you to trust the process. It's important for you to know that there are healers around you in the spirit realm. Okay? And they are privy to the information of what happens on the other side of that Seven of Cups. And when they are privy to it and they are connecting with you, that means you are privy to it as well. I think you know that this is an inevitability for you. Whether you admit that or not, totally different story. Because you're trying to fit things into a box here. But illumination. Look, everything right on top of the sun, like, please. You're going to have all the clarity you could ever ask for. More clarity than you could ever ask for. Maybe not today, but you're going to see, you're going to understand what this Two of Wands, this taste was really all about. Use this Two of Wands taste as an indicator that you're ready, an indicator that your hard work is paying off, an indicator that your spiritual development is in progress. And because of that, because your vibration is getting higher, because you are walking in greater wisdom now and practicing greater wisdom, because you're doing those things, that's why it happened. And next time you manifest something, it's going to be more purposeful, more meaningful, more powerful. The otter spirit, you are never alone. And I love that with the shaman. I do feel like there's a shaman around you. I don't always feel that with these like kind of spirit guide cards. I don't always feel like there's like an actual, spirit around you. But with that shaman, I do. That there is someone holding you and running energy to you and sending love to you right now from the other side. Okay, well, here, Chiron, healing. Okay, well, there you go. The Chiron in Aries, amplified by the Mars retrograde, Chiron is what breaks us open, but mends us together with greater reinforcement, meaning we are mended together stronger, more strongly, whatever the proper grammar is for that. Ancient healing wisdom, you are not alone. Chiron, healing, and in the world, not of the world. See, in the world. In the world. I feel like, I love how she's like surrounded by fish and she's like in the water, because it's that water flow, the acceptance, like when a river is flowing and it runs into a couple rocks, it just goes around, right? The acceptance of the obstacle and the movement around is very important right now. The acceptance of the challenge and the accommodation of the challenge. The allowance, just let that challenge be there. Just let that obstacle be there. Let this puff of smoke occur. Let this confusion occur. This is an opportunity for you to really determine what you really want. And that's an exciting place to be. And I think all things, positive and perceived negative experiences, right? We all know that blessings come from negative experiences. We all know that growth happens. And with these cards, Chariot, King of Wands, Ten of Coins, the Sun, your payout is going to be huge. Okay? All right, pile number 3. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. You guys know I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.